First one, this first one has to do with balance and I think of justice in that case. And this is about a young man who dared to criticize his congressman. He criticized him regularly. The congressman misbehaved and they pulled a really nasty trick. They pretended that he threatened the congressman and he was charged and taken to jail. But then eventually he was freed. So this is called The Flute Man is Free. He dared to criticize, did he? The righty warrior's lordly scorn deterred him not one turn. Called the flute man for compassion, called he for sympathy, spurned by the minions lowly, he urged consideration of the nation's troubles. In vision, and for his efforts was pinioned by the powerful servant's double vision. Though with lies and scurrilous charges weighed they his purpose, made solid stony stood he. His comrades rallied round, and he stood that lonely ground. Voices roundly raised came to vibrant sing in praise his song. The court stood in awe, was rightly stunned at the crowd of voices loud upraised who'd come. The crowd conveyed his name's esteem, and in its high tide turned fame, more friends than George Bailey's bounties found. Stayed they in his honor against the cruelly conned and crushed, complaints condemned, uplifted by friends, his gentle ways they told. They came to defend this man of gold, this man's friend. No savory fame sought he, just a cause of compassion fought he. In all the tossed messages lost, against they threw their little lies, these impudent spies. Despise crying a simple, gentle truth. Loudly scorning they, the activists, they might as well denounce the rising tide in their ranky ship of lies. Turn the burning flame of truth from its mighty road. He stood and triumphant played his notes of truth amid the swirling symphony of friends who stood beside the man, befriends, defends his noble valor, sending forth in fluty flight. He told the truth. And one more, again, thinking of balance and justice, this is a little piece, although it's dated in some ways, sadly, it's still true. This is called Homeland Defense. When in a flurry of excessive zeal, we invented a whole new way of terrorizing our own people. It's called Homeland Defense. Between the kings of Saudi oil, who Shell and Exxon dare not despoil, and those of Wall Street's fiscal toil, where betting against the working man guarantees a stock's demand, and Desert Prince with generous eye holds courts intense, where gas station cards shall pay the rent. Does the oily hand of GH's show old CIA man still in control? Pass the ID cards, but not a fakin'. This way from true American icon shaken. Your face will now be pre-recorded and all your flights will now be boarded. Arm the pilot, the stewardess too. Next to the pillow and the barf bags fun, all passengers now will be given guns. Ah, for a shootout in the airy blue. Oh, what just a day can do. I picture the Stewie, tray in her hand, confronted by the wanted man. She tosses the tray into his face, spins in her arm and kicks him trace. He rolls across the cart to a Boy Scout troop who truss him up and steal his boots. Arms behind his back now tied. They bounce him over to the choir side, who pummel, pillage, and then retire. And all those watching were inspired. Then a group of Civitan asked for a few fingers from his hand. The Boy Scout troop wants his bushy beard. You should have heard the things I'd heard. Then an old monk, Jesuit, gave him quite a goodly kick, and the secretary got him with her bick. Though the pilot and co-pilot were vying for priority, they submitted their decision for the vote of the majority. Some wanted to toss him right out the door, but a cloister of nuns still wanted some fun. They dragged him back to the airplane tail, and a rugby team ran him back to the gale. Up to the galley where they banged his head 2 or 3 times on the oven's lid, and a group of congressional aides in first class pulled every hair from out of his ass. A covey of comedians dove right in with a left and a right to his nose and his chin, and a group of traders down from Duluth pushed him and mashed him into the roof. Some ceiling ties in an overhead bin broke when they tried to stuff him in. But let this be remembered and never forget, don't ever wait till your library book's late. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
I love those traders from Duluth.